History is lost when people age and die. Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. It is important to record stories and preserve history. Many pivotal moments in our nation's history may be lost to time if we do not record these stories. September 11th, 2001 is one of those moments. Many people remember how old they were on that day.
I was 19.
I was 23.
I was about 39.
Okay, I was 44.
A few moments in history cement memories of where we were when it happened. People often recount where they were when JFK was assassinated or when the moon landing happened. 9/11 is one of those days.
I was here at Mount Airy Christian Academy teaching in a portable that was down in the parking lot, now where the lower parking lot is, off to the right of the building.
So I was in college in Missouri.
I was in a little classroom right up there in the area that is now the gym.
I was, at that time, I was dating my husband, who was in the Navy, and we were stationed in Virginia Beach.
9/11 was a tragic event, and many Americans remember their fear and panic in that moment.
The World Trade Centers have been attacked and the Pentagon. Stay tuned for what's going to happen, but I'm not sure we're going to finish.
I knew that my dad was working in New York that day, and my mom was working in DC, and so I didn't know where they were.
My youngest son was in second grade here at Mount Airy Christian Academy, and because we had to stay in our portables until all of the kids had been dismissed, I didn't get to him, so he had some lasting impacts of being afraid of what was going on.
And I saw everything going on, and kind of freaked out a little bit. And then I got a phone call from him saying that he wasn't coming home. He didn't know how long he'd be gone, and he'd see me when he'd see me. And yeah, that's when I freaked out.
I saw the look on her face, and I knew that something was serious.
And then my oldest son was going to DeMatha Catholic High School in Washington, D.C., and they were on a lockdown, and we couldn't get to him until later in the evening. So it was a very scary day for us.
I turned on the radio. There was nothing else. There was no internet. There was nothing. But I just felt the need to connect with what was happening out in the world. And I turned on the radio exactly when the first tower collapsed. And the announcer was in panic mode. And he was screaming and saying things like, "Oh my God, the whole thing is coming down."
Americans watched the events on live TV, and their world was never the same.
All you wanted to do was just sit there and watch the TV, and it was just one horror story after another, and just very traumatic. Our nation went to war almost immediately because of it, and that was unsure times. Everything in our world has completely changed. Before that time, you could walk with your family to the airport, to the hangar where they were going to embark on their plane, and you could say goodbye, and nobody was checked, and no luggage was x-rayed, and after that, everything changed. And I think for several days there was no flights across the country. But it's a less free world today than it was prior to 9/11.
One MACA parent who worked at the Pentagon had a close call. By God's grace, he wasn't at work when the plane hit.
I did have a student whose father was an officer, an Army officer at the Pentagon, and that particular day was the only day he had ever last minute decided to take off and paint a room at his house. And so I still get chills when I think of that story, because he came to pick up his son very shaken up, as he told me the plane that hit the Pentagon went right through his office and singed his belongings that were in the office.
One of my students' parents worked in the Pentagon, and he just happened to be running late for work that day and was not in the Pentagon when it was hit.
The aftermath of 9/11 was an unprecedented time when Americans found comfort in each other and in God.
As some parents started to come into the parking lot to pick up their children early, I had one parent come straight to the portable and ask for his daughter.
Oh, I got on AOL Instant Messenger and typed to my brother, who knew where my parents were, and let me know that they were okay.
And we all prayed, and parents came one by one to pick up their children. And by 12:30, the school was empty, and we went home.
Almost every American who was alive during 9/11 has stories like these, and it is important for those who were born after to learn and understand their experience. September 11th, 2001. We will never forget.